One. And there we go. Okay. So, welcome to a last minute MG Rogue Sunday broadcast. Island time you speak of. I have no idea what that is. Unless something is weirdly off, Bacon, I'm not sure. So, we are waiting for our guest to join us. This is the return of Ishiro Ishii, Finney. We had him on Masculine Geek not that long ago. And we're going to talk Biddies, as in large tits. Now, he is working on a book called JUGS, a writer's guide to realistic portrayals of busty women. Or everything you wanted to know about huge cans, but were afraid to ask. I'm sure none of us here, neither James nor I, are afraid to ask about large cans. That being one of our favorite sites, especially as the weather gets warmer and the ladies take the twins for a walk. Pardon me whilst I cough and drink some sangria. Since it is getting warm, we're moving into sangria season. What are you drinking, James?
Nothing at present. Just waiting for the coffee to warm up.
Gotcha. All right, so you get us two for now. Rob is busy. He's hanging out with his father. That's his Sunday routine. What cup size are we talking about? Well, there's different ways to measure. Let's go to a quote from his site, his bit of his writing that he sent to me. This is from Christina Hendricks, who has a 32H cup. I did not know there was such a thing. These are probably outlandishly large tits, wherein it looks like two bowling balls on a washboard. That would be my guess, because 32, the number is really the size of the shoulder, the bust area. That's what that is. And the cup is coming out. So Christina Hendricks says, no matter what anyone says, having big boobs is totally worth it. I'm inclined to agree. Now, for myself, on my girls, yes, I like large tits. Why? I'm into breast bondage and doing wonderful things in the realm of BDSM with them. So we can discuss that as well. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we are waiting for our guest. If he remembers that tonight is the night and 8 p.m. Eastern is the time. I know we had the clocks forced ahead on us for every state that's involved in daylight savings time. I think there's 2 states not involved in that, Arizona being one of them. What's the other one, James? Do you know?
No idea whatsoever. I think daylight time saving times is stupid.
It's the dumbest shit.
I assume that everybody engages in it.
Pretty much, yeah. It's an American thing, so yeah. It's anything dumb can be equated with American culture, at least lately. Christ. All right, let me check. All right, I think it's gone off on Twitter. Nothing in email except the notification that we're live. I know we're live because I can see us right now. Okay, my guess is Ishii is not going to show up because he's off an hour or off a few days. So we'll just go ahead and hang out for a little bit and then sign off. What have you been up to today?
I've been working on the very last end credits for Sanity is the Future of Wealth, which is why my voice is going to be off. So,
okay.
I finally put that off my desk, and we can finally get back to the meditation. I told Aaron earlier, the meditations that we're planning on working on can fill up the rest of my recording hours. And besides that, I've been working on Eyes of the Forest, the Kickstarter, and trying to figure out how to promote that, and then working on my tabletop Kickstarter.
Gotcha. Well, throw up.
Sundays are usually lazy for me.
As well they should be. I mean, it is the day of rest.
The day of rest.
Throw up in the private chat the link to that, and I'll throw it up in the banner. And we'll
Let's
get
check
everyone.
this out. Because I've definitely seen plenty of.
Or if you want to share, or if you want to go ahead and share a screen share.
I can share a screen. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let me pop this. Let me disable my screen dampener, and that should. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Well, I'm afraid I don't have 2 monitors.
That's all right.
There we are. And you should be able to see that now.
Correct. Let me give that top billing here, full screen layout. So let me get rid of the banner for the moment. Go ahead and explain this to us.
Well, back in about 2017, I started writing. I had a writing project for myself, and I said, "I'm going to write," because I wanted to take this all night. My creative mind had finally got going, as it were, and I decided that I was not going to listen to people who told me not to be creative. But I was also told in school that I could not write. And so this posed something of a problem for me, because it was one thing for them to tell me that I was not creative, but writing has technical skills and aspects to it. So if I can't write, well, clearly that could be its own problem separate from whatever I was instructed on. Turned out not to be the case. I set up a challenge for myself in which I would write 1 page every single day for 10 days. And I was going to report in with, basically accountability with some other people I had been working with, very similar to the Everydays. And I had, it took me more like 15 days to get the 10 pages in, but progress was made. And I decided it was going to be a comic script. Because a comic script, I don't have to write the dialogue. I could have somebody else do that. I could get a co-writer. All I need to do, I told myself, is write the scenario, the context of the situation, and then if I want to give whoever is eventually going to write this dialogue out, assuming there is such a person, I'm going to write out the tone and the tenor of the scene and how people are speaking to one another, and maybe the point that they're trying to make, and maybe some general details about what it is that they're going to be discussing with the other person, or simply speaking aloud to themselves. And wouldn't you know it, after going through all of these steps, I figured out how to write dialogue.
Nice.
And so I turned that into a book, and that got, as I'm fond of saying, that got as much attention as your first indie book is ever going to get, which is to say none at all. I was just happy that I did it. But as time went on, I looked over that original script, because I still have all my first draft was entirely paper and pen, effectively. And I still had that first set of 10 pages, and I said, indie comics are a big thing right now. Unfortunately, that doesn't appear to be as much the case. But yeah, so I decided to put it up. I decided to turn it into a comic script. I sent it to a lovely creative duo known as Star 2 in Portugal. And we bounced back and forth. I paid them to produce the comic, and they did a fantastic job on it. And that's how I got to the first issue.
Nice. Okay, so that brings us up to the current day and time.
Indeed. The very last thing that needs to be done, actually, I did all of this out of pocket. The very last thing that needs to be done is the logo. And I have somebody working on that right now. Should be done in about a week, I'm expecting.
Okay. Cool. Now, the art by Star 2, who is that, and how did you meet this person?
So there is a account on Twitter which I'm connected to via one of those. Is this an intersection? No, not necessarily. There's an account on Twitter called Sursova. He runs a magazine by the same name.
Yep. And
he's a really chill guy. Doesn't really engage on Twitter anymore, except for on his DMs. We're in a group chat together. And I asked about, if anybody knew artists and stuff like that, and he pointed me in their direction.
Gotcha.
And it was the perfect recommendation because Cersova runs basically a pulp magazine.
Hmm.
And everything, all the art that he produces for that, he produces some incredible covers for that with the artists that he selects.
Nice.
And so Star 2 was a perfect fit. They had engaged in another illustration project for him, but I think it couldn't have. I don't think it went all the way for whatever reason. I think there might have not been enough interest in it or something of that variety. But he sent me their way, and we hit it off right away. We still chat, we still talk. In fact, I gotta send an email to them tonight because they will likely read it tomorrow morning. But yeah,
nice.
super chill people. Very happy I met them, and I'm looking forward to working with them in the future.
Cool. I have seen his Twitter account flash across my Twitter feed. So, and I do recall you mentioning the fact that you knew him. So that's cool. Very cool. All right. So that's what's now the second Kickstarter? What is that about?
Oh, that was Chillness Valley. That was another 5th edition supplement.
Oh, okay.
And that one is, I have a co-writer for that. Most of my work at the moment is trying to make sure that my co-writer stays on point and make sure that I stay on point and still shooting for that end of March release.
Gotcha. You think you'll make it?
I am. So here's the thing. The last month of production tends to be pretty rigorous for me.
Okay.
It tends to be where the biggest burst of creativity lies and the biggest burst of writing lies. And it's a lot of fun. Occasionally, or I shouldn't even say occasionally, often these larger projects will stretch out a little further than I wanted it to initially. But that's generally because I'm adding additional content that would not have been in there in the first place, and makes the book feel a little bit more complete, a little bit more holistic. And I try to stay up to date with backers on that stuff. It's like, hey, we're delaying this a little bit further because I want to add this extra thing because I think it's going to make it this much better. And the backers are very patient with me, generally speaking. I really appreciate it.
That is cool. Now, your experience with doing Kickstarters, how did that? How comfortable were you with that? With launching one, did you do any research beforehand? Did you have someone help, get like a mentor, or did you say, "Fuck it, I'm just going to launch and learn as I go"?
Well, 2 years ago, I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to launch and learn as I go," which is when I did my first Kickstarter. I said, "Hey, I'm going to produce a small 5e supplement." And the goal is $100, and the people gave me $400. And I said, that's pretty cool. Let me continue doing this.
Gotcha.
I think over time, I've gotten more and more frustrated with the Kickstarter ecology because it's very difficult to... I don't have access to any of the in crowds. I don't have access to the in on indie comics. I don't have access to the in on indie tabletop design. I know a lot of this on my own Steam.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but there's opportunities upcoming that, if nothing else, I'm going to create for myself that I can get out of the Kickstarter ecology at least a little bit, and maybe lean on other creators a little bit more. But we'll see how that goes.
Gotcha. Okay. How easy is Kickstarter to work with as far as the platform and the GUI, the interface?
Easier than it used to be. They finally added add-ons, which was, personally, I think that was their one major advantage. I think that was Indiegogo's one major advantage over Kickstarter, was the fact that Indiegogo had built into the platform, hey, if you want to add these other items onto your total and make this a little bit more of a shopping experience, go right ahead. And Kickstarter finally added that. In fact, Chillness Valley was one of the first projects to implement this within their set of features. Actually, it might have been Trails Through the Skies, which was another Kickstarter that we did. But in any case, one of our Kickstarters was among the first salvo to gain access to that feature. It was fantastic, and I like it. I like it overall. I wish it was a little bit better about sending people to my Kickstarters, but then again, I am working in smaller industries, or at least tabletop was a smaller industry. Indie comics is not supposed to be a smaller industry, but larger creators appear to interact with indie comics a little bit more, so that's my disadvantage there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Definitely better than Indiegogo. Indiegogo deletes your campaigns every 6 months if they go unlaunched, and that to me is intolerable.
Really?
Because I need more than 6 months to set them up.
Yeah, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a busy person. I'm often doing this alone. I'm almost always doing this alone. And I need more than 6 months to do that because sometimes things get delayed and I want to make sure they go out correctly. And I want to make sure that I have the best advantage. Don't want to have to worry about something getting shut off the morning after I'm planning, or the night before I'm planning to launch something because the date happened to line up that way and there's no means of me saving it.
How many Kickstarters have you launched?
Oh Jesus. Let's look at that. View all. Let's see here. Launched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 successful, 2 unsuccessful. Or sorry, 8. 7 of which were successful, 1 ongoing, 2 unsuccessful.
Okay. Unsuccessful meaning you didn't reach your goal.
Or I canceled the project.
Gotcha.
Which I mean, there was the difference is technical when it comes to the mechanesium down here, because my first project was for $100 goal. The mechanesium was a larger project with a $10,000 goal. And I started raising a lot of money, but we weren't getting anywhere close to the mechanesium as of yet. Part of that being, I feel like I could have gotten further along had I access to the add-ons feature, but Kickstarter hadn't rolled that out yet, so that wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
But then immediately afterwards, I said, okay, I've learned my lesson. Now I'm going to do a $500 goal. And as you could see, I got 505% funding for grand total of $2,500.
I see that, yeah. Now, if something does not fund in time and the people that have already pledged a certain amount, they get refunded, correct?
They get refunded.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is advantageous, I'd say. Indiegogo actually has an option for that to not happen, where instead they will give you, they'll say like, listen, we'll do flexible funding to where you guys get to put your money in, and even if the project doesn't get funded, you're still going to get your project and stuff like that, and you're still going to pay the money if you really believe in this. And then the creator, of course, has the option to still shut that down if they don't want to make that commitment. If they decide that not getting enough money to their funding goal means that they can't actually produce the thing that they're pledging, that their backers are pledging for.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting ecology. It's a weird ecology. I'd like to expand out past it. That generally means working with other people, and it looks like that's going to mean harassing other independent creators into doing things with me.
Gotcha.
But that's fine with me. I'm persuasive.
Yeah. Well, you've got the voice, so that's part of it right there.
Yeah.
Hey, TJ, how are you? Earth to TJ.
You may be muted.
Hello, sorry. I was having speaker problems.
Oh, get your shit together. Figured to invite you on since we don't have our guest. He's incognito and not showing up right now. It's possible that he doesn't realize that the jump ahead for Eastern Standard Time has happened because of daylight savings time.
It's perfect timing, by the way. I'm gonna go get my coffee.
There you go. Get your coffee.
I didn't realize today was daylight saving, so I woke up and it said, like this really late hour in the morning. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't sleep in that long. And then I went over and looked at my oven clock, and it was still an hour earlier.
Yeah, that happened to me with my oven clock and microwave clock. But fortunately for me, I set my alarm using my phone, so that automatically changes over, so I don't have any problems. TJ tripping out of the gate. Yes, he was having some audio issues, Bacon.
Well, because
That's pretty
it keeps doing this stuff where I hook up my headphones, Bluetooth, and then it does the microphone. Well, it switches it around where it says I'm supposed to be listening through the microphone and speaking through the headset. It's like what that. No, I've never wanted to do that.
It's supposed to auto sense, but sometimes StreamYard just blocks up and just doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Is that you, James, or is that you, TJ? No,
that's me. Yeah, I was in the middle. I didn't. No, I'm in the middle of cooking something, and I got the fireplace going, so I didn't see the link until just now.
No worries. What are you cooking?
I'm making just turkey meat, what is it? Lean? What was it?
Ground turkey.
Yeah, ground turkey, and enjoying some of that
favorite.
cider.
Oh yeah, that's right. You talked about the kit, and then on Twitter you said that you'd. So tell us about that. How did it turn out?
It's a little bit sweeter than what I was wanting. I wanted something that's kind of dry, but I also picked I went and just grabbed some apple juice from the store, and what you do is you just pour sugar in, depending on how sweet you want it. Then you pour in the yeast that they give you, and then you put the little cap on that allows the air to go out, and then you can carbonate it after that. What I've learned is if I was going to do that again, I would probably not put in almost any sugar, because this still has got it's not terribly sweet, but it still has that sweetness that I'm not huge. I prefer more of the dry kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm the same way with my ciders. I like them. There's one, I forget the name of it, but it's called Bone Dry, and it really is. There's less than 1 gram of sugar, which is perfect, and that's the way I like my ciders. I like them dry, not too sweet. Woodchuck is probably the worst. I think that clocks in around 23 or 28 grams of sugar per bottle. That's just fuck. You're drinking your calories at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
You have 2 bottles. You have 2 bottles of that, and you can't have any dinner.
Right, and that's why I like dry ciders. Is they're they may have like one of them has 180 calories, but there's no carbs.
Exactly. I'm doing the reverse of that. I have red sangria here, just getting into the season of sangria. It's getting warmer, so this is probably pretty bad. A lot of sugar in this one, but every once in a while, hey, fuck it.
Right. I mean, you got to indulge yourself. You can't.
You do exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And Bacon says Washington is a great place to be if you like ciders. Is that true?
Yes, we grow most of the apples in the world, and we also grow a lot of pears. I live in a pear orchard community.
Really?
So yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, a lot of agriculture around where I live.
Do you go pear picking?
I actually have not picked any pears. I picked cherries at one point, and I could have maybe. If I got enough cherries for enough that I needed to make Viking blood, that's basically a mead. So
Viking. Yeah, cherry as a cider, along with the apples, is very, very tasty. There's one that's by the same company that it makes the bone dry cider. They do something called Zombie Slayer. Yeah. And that has cherry juice added to it, and it's fantastic. So,
yeah,
cool, very cool. So we were supposed to be talking large tits as far as writing and media was concerned with Ishii, Finney, but like I said, I think he's got his time all fucked up. So he may pop in at 9 o'clock. We'll see. So, but he's writing a new book called JUGS, and it's called A Writer's Guide to Realistic Portrayals of Busty Women. So, and that's in different forms of media. So I figured that would be an interesting topic because we as red-blooded American men love large tits. We cannot deny it. It may seem uncouth to some. It may seem rude, but we do like large tits. It's in our blood. It's like magic when we see them. We can't help ourselves. That is who and what we are. We are drawn to large titties. Anyway, so TJ's working on the cider. James is in the dark. And I'm talking to myself. So there we go.
I prefer tomboys, but I like large tits.
Well, why can't you have both at the same time?
Collect it. Read this one. Read this
I feel
one,
like
James.
that's. Oh,
Read that one. Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
Blues for $2. It's collected all of the masculine geek action figures.
We actually need to come up with those. Yes.
So
No, we
you
do
will
not.
note that Aaron's action figure is considerably shorter than the rest of us.
Is that you that pointed out the difference, the height difference with the light switch on Twitter? Who did that?
No, that was Atham.
Oh, okay. Atham was looking kind of fat in that photo. And what the fuck was he wearing? That's why I responded today on what not to wear. It was like a Hawaiian shirt, untucked.
Yeah,
It looked like he had a bit of a gut, and then he had an oversized sport coat on. I think somebody drugged him. That's not his usual garb. He's a lot smarter than that. Yeah. And thank you, Red.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what
Right.
what Atham was thinking.
Man, it was weird. And he left the face diaper on his face. That was probably the worst part. Speaking of which, what kind of nips do y'all prefer? Do you want to read that, James?
No, I
you
don't want to read that.
You have to completely read that. Come on, let's do it.
I'm 100% not doing that.
James does not want to read.
Yeah, I will also not be answering that question.
Speaking of which, what kind of nips do y'all prefer? Are you down south, Bacon? Is that you part southern, like y'all?
I'm not. Do I even want to know what he's talking about, or is this conversation going to go downhill? As James was,
He's talking about. We're not going to talk about nipples. We're going to talk about the actual. And when we do, we'll talk about the overall breast size as it relates to literature, in a classy, masculine geek, gentlemanly sense. Very classy. Very classy we are here at Masculine Geek. So
because Aaron's not here, so we can keep it classy.
because Aaron's not. Yeah. When Aaron is here, it's
He's like, when I'm looking for a good girl's figure, I want to remind me of a bar of Irish soap, Irish Spring soap.
I know, right? He does like Irish Spring soap, doesn't he?
He does.
He does, yeah. I remember he mentioned that when he came out to the village by the sea.
Wow.
There he is. He's
Hello
only
there.
40. He's only 41 minutes late.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
I've got to apologize. It just occurred to us right now. Daylight savings. We don't change time.
That's what we figured. Yeah, we were. I said you're probably going to pop in somewhere close to 9 o'clock because of the daylight savings time. You're probably one state that doesn't do it. I know Arizona doesn't do it. And what's the other state?
I don't know what other one does it, but yeah, we don't do it. So yeah, I was still five. Hawaii.
Okay. Well, Hawaii is cool. So that everyone else we're all retards. So, all right, cool. So everyone, welcome. We have Ishii back again. He was on our broadcast several months ago. However, this time around, and as we've mentioned before in the earlier part of this broadcast, we are going to be talking about large breasts in relation to literature and media. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Your book that you're working on, which is called JUGS, A Writer's Guide to Realistic Portrayals of Busty Women.
Right.
A good part of this was launched because of the bullshit that your wife was getting.
Well, yeah, that's actually how this started to begin with. around, I would say maybe 2007, 2008, thereabouts. She was already getting a lot of bullying, and they were already no, I was probably around 2009, where they were really beginning to push revising all the characters. And, one of the first things they did is, flatten out chests. And one of my wife's favorite characters, Power Girl, got just completely wrecked.
Oh,
now, she got to keep her breasts, but unlike most of the other characters, they made her the laughingstock.
Really?
She was, she got first she was a cold bitch, and then she became a buffoon, or essentially the straight man for Harley. And she wrote this article about how it really just the whole thing, and how right now in the media, where it's always been that, well, either a large-breasted woman is portrayed as a bubblehead or a bitch. Or an idiot. Yeah. Basically a bubblehead or a bitch, or a slut. And that really upset her, that one character that was kind of a busty tomboy that she really, really liked and related to, Power Girl, got completely ruined. And so ever since then, I've gone out of my way to put at least one extremely busty character in one of my stories if I can fit it in. And that's been going on for quite a while. And then recently we moved, and in the move, we were talking, it just came up about how much, even though there's all this anti-breast stuff, there are a lot of young men and a lot of writers out there who are bucking the trend anyways and writing this stuff. And she was talking about, they get everything wrong though. They get it all wrong. And I started joking that I'll just, knowing her and our experiences all these years, I'll write a writer's guide. I'll take all the compiled knowledge you gave me about writing busty characters realistically, and I'll share that. And it went from being a joke to something real.
Okay.
And it just went from there.
I like it. And you have, you sent me a link, and I have one up right here. This is the intro. You sent me two links to 2 chapters that you've completed so far.
Right.
Okay.
And I've got actually more than that, but those are the 2 I was willing to share.
Gotcha. Okay.
That I felt were presentable already. But so we started, she's kind of helping me through it, but started writing the book. And what started as what we thought would maybe about 10,000 words, though this is actually going to be longer than we had anticipated. You're kind of wondering, well, how much can you write about tits, right?
Well, I'm sure there's a deep history behind all this.
Well, the first thing is it is written tongue in cheek. I mean, we are aware of the fact that this is going to be humorous to some degree. So yeah, there's a wink and the smile through the whole thing. And but it's actually a serious book, talking about all the things that writers would probably want to know, but really can't just go up and ask without probably getting hit.
Yeah.
Or coming off as a creep.
I got to throw out a question. So what was one of the things that your wife said that writers get wrong? Like, was there a specific one, or was there a quite a list to the point where you're like, this needs to be a book?
Oh, well, one of the things that writers get wrong was, it started, of course, with all the jiggle physics, which is just, backward. How much of that would hurt if I actually jiggled around that much while moving around? No one would go into a beach volleyball game or a fight swinging around like that. It's pain. And from there, we were talking about how, there was this period on our own show where we were reading the back covers of erotica because they were so damn hilarious to the audience. And we were trying to find the weirdest ones we could. And we found that there were a number of them written by guys who had no idea how bras actually worked. And so, another one that was like immediate was, there's this kind of notion that if a 32D is big, a 38D must be bigger, but it's not. That's actually smaller. So that's explained. Then it went from there. We started talking about the myth of the Amazons needing to cut their breast off. for archery, which she found really annoying because she does archery and doesn't have any problem. And then after that, we started talking a little about clothing, and it just kept spiraling out of things we could mention. And I think probably the two most important chapters, I mean, there's a lot of just basic information. Basically, there's an entire chapter dedicated to understanding bra fitting because it's a nightmare. And to the reader, at least, it's funny. But yeah, actually understanding how sizing work is I call it the riddle of cup size. It is so bizarre. Then after that, we did there's going to be a whole section of just living, working, busting a lot of the myths about, there's always this notion of back pain. That's another one that she just hates. There's they always get in the way. So kind of the real information on that. But I think the two most important chapters is a chapter on attention, good, bad, and ugly. And there's a lot of myth busting in that. There's a lot of realities. And then the other one is there's an entire chapter called Kicking Ass with Huge Tits.
Would it be safe to say that a lot of the hostility, animosity, and bullshit really boils down to jealousy and envy?
Talking to the I've gotten multiple people answer questions who, once they kind of realized what I was doing with the book, they offered information. Mm-hmm. And the overall feeling is that, one, there is a jealousy. There's also the whole feminist thing of lowering standards so that you stand out. There can't be any beauty because then it makes someone else look ugly. So get rid of beauty.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then another one that I talked about with my wife, but also a couple of the other women that were interviewed for the book, was the notion that right now, with all the gender insanity and the whole woke thing, is that there is an attack on gender itself and what it means to be male and female. And correct. What is one thing that basically stands out on a woman, what is essentially the embodiment of hyper femininity, is the curves. And a busty woman is extremely feminine. And so that is obviously going to be something they would want to get rid of because, well, it's a clear indicator. No, that's a woman. I don't care what you say. That is a woman. And so, yeah, it's an attack on, womanhood in general, but also reality.
Gotcha.
I mean, they want a world in which gender doesn't exist. And, was it babies are assigned at birth the gender rather than choosing for themselves? And
everyone's androgynous. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it almost seems like it's an attack on whatever men find sexually appealing in a woman. It's like, it's not, it's, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. One of the women I interviewed actually said that. That it was an attack on anything men found appealing. We like comics, destroy comics. We like video games, destroy video games. We like boobs,
Well, that's it. Anything that brings enjoyment and right. Happiness is like, all right, crush that. We're just gonna we can't have that. And if there is someone somewhere having fun and enjoyment and living life and being happy, no, you can't have that. So,
speaking of which, I want to hear about this attention chapter. How much of that was influenced by the contributors, and what was the general thesis of that chapter?
Well, I'm midway through writing that one, and initially I thought this was just going to be a basic, okay, when interacting with people, do they really talk to your breasts? Do you get stared at? And it was a very basic thing, and it just spiraled out of control. Suddenly realizing, no, the attention thing is the crux of all the other issues. And so, now it's, we get into the whole thing about staring and, how real is it? And I do comparisons. Like, for instance, I do go down a list of there's the actual measurable phenomena of breasts causing car crashes, and I name actual instances.
So that actually has happened.
Yeah.
Nice.
Some of the instances that I mention in the book is one is a Moscow cell phone company had put up these billboards around the city, which were a large pair of breasts barely covered up by the wording of the company. And of course, it drew the eye. They were blamed for over 500 car accidents, and the billboards had to be taken down. There was another
safety hazard.
There was another story where there was this exotic dancer. You know the type of women that would go on Jerry Springer that look like they have basketballs hidden under their shirt.
It's like basketballs on a washboard. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This exotic dancer named Busty Dusty, who has these gigantic spherical J-cup breasts, was walking out of a hotel in Colorado, and this guy was staring at her and rammed into a parked car in front of him.
Nice.
And apparently it was infamous because it was right in front of a bar, and like the entire bar came out and started laughing. And then the last one that I mentioned is in 2007, the Belgian Grand Prix. There was a multi-car collision in which the lead car, driven by Renee, some French name, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. A woman on the sideline flashed her breasts at him as he drove by, and there was a collision, and he lost the first place.
Now, you mentioned here eye magnets. I'm going to read this out. Put bluntly, breasts are eye magnets. There's a magnetism about how a full chest pulls at the gaze of everyone around them. And the bigger the breasts, the greater the pull. This is very true. I mean, that's for... I know it's different for women.
Right.
There's not a well, unless you're bisexual, you're swinging that way. But for the most part, it's fundamentally a guy pull. Yeah. It's like this. It's like it's magic. It's in our blood to just zoom in on that.
Yes, exactly. But at the beginning, I mentioned that for men and for some women, there is the sexual attraction as well. But there's also the fact that it's just something that pulls eyes toward them, probably out of instinct. And I even mentioned that there's news footage of chimps and lions and elephants groping a busty newscaster. Like, hey, what are those things?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Holy crap!
So basically, the animals
even the animals know.
Yeah.
Well, then the animals got hashtag me too.
No, actually, there has been instances like that. There was a dolphin at SeaWorld. This was when I was in San Diego, who apparently didn't like one of the trainers, and she tried to file for sexual harassment against SeaWorld.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the opening paragraph to the attention chapter. Straight, gay, male, female, boob lover, or hater, it doesn't matter who you are. When a busty woman enters the room, we all notice. Even children and pets will find their eyes wandering up towards those two fleshy melons as they jiggle by. For most, there's nothing even sexual. There's not even a sexual it's not even about sexual attraction. It's the result of millions of years of evolution. Something instinctual is triggered deep within the recesses of our brains and pull our attention away from whatever we're doing, to take notice of those full pair of breasts. And these reactions aren't unique to humans. And then I get into the... And so I kind of lead in with that. I talk about how, it's also... I talk about fiction and where it fits in. And that, at one time, there were other archetypes for busty women that were, beyond just the slut or the bubblehead. And, I talk about, in pulp noir, it was the femme fatale was a staple of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I talked about the fact that there's the oppai and ecchi genres from manga, which is specifically about boob humor.
they're very the Japanese are very cosmopolitan about the female form in general. they really are. It's very refreshing. Yeah.
But then getting into writing and suggesting ways you could take it that aren't predictable, I mention as a rule, if your character's whole identity is defined and governed by her breast size, she's not a character. Hell, she's not even a stereotype. She's a prop for other characters to react to. Meaning, often we will get these characters in graphic novels or movies, and what is their character? The one with big tits. So this chapter also kind of gets into how to work around that, how to avoid that. The eye magnet bit. But then also in contrast, I talk about eye magnetism in everyday life. And, my wife's very busty, and I've interviewed some other busty women. And generally the notion is most of these women have experienced cars slowing down as they pass by, or, guys hitting on them. But at the same time, really, most of these really outlandish stories usually come from professionals, people whose job is to stand out.
Right.
So,
Tracks.
yeah, Elvira.
Yeah.
So,
Not changed, nicely.
And then I talk about some incidents like, one of these oversized breast strippers going to Disneyland and making a stink about everyone looking at her. It's like, well, look, you've got like gigantic, you got these two gigantic globes hanging out and you're dressed like a strip or a hooker. What do you expect? And then I contrast that to another person. It's like, well, you should respect the surroundings, dress appropriately, realize you're going to draw attention. So, work around that, try to be respectful.
Yeah. I remember there was this years ago, there was some school in the area that I was working near. And one of my coworkers had a daughter or something like that, where she was complaining about how they had to do a new dress code where like girls couldn't dress a certain way because it was just causing problems, like kind of like modesty uniform or something like that. And they got into the discussion of like, why. It's like, well, if you're a girl and you're at a certain age, you're going to draw attention from guys. And she goes, well, can't guys just not look? And I was like, oh.
No, absolutely not.
It's like,
no.
Well, it's just funny. Like it's just funny that this is what happens when I don't think she had any siblings, but like, this is what happens when girls aren't aware of like how men's minds work, because they think it's like some sort of switch that we have in the back of on our backs. It's like, not interested, not physically interested, whatever. It's like as if it's something you can just switch on and off at your leisure.
Well, I mean, no, the initial holy shit, look at those.
Yeah.
That is instinctual. Obviously, we have the willpower and the discipline to avert our eyes, focus on something else, but deep down in our blood, we're like fixated and focused
when it's
and zeroing in on that.
Yeah, but when it's 5 feet away from you in a schoolroom every day for a couple hours, it's like,
well, look, when you're a teenager, you said, you can't treat the sex drive as an on-off switch. When you're a teenage boy, it's more than just on permanently. It's an overdrive.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really distracting.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to focus, and it's a downright pain in the ass.
Yeah. And so, that is definitely something that comes up. I actually mentioned that a lot of the women I talked to had said the only times they ever had anyone talk to their breasts, they were teenage boys.
Talk to their breasts. That's funny.
Just kind of, they didn't look at her in the face.
Just looking down at, yeah. You're putting them out there. That's what's going to happen.
Or Kat likes to say, if you don't want window shoppers, don't put the goods on display.
This is true. I mean, if you dress like a nun, there you go. Or just throw a burqa on. Now I get why they have those.
Yeah, but with
So-
some girls, it's not going to make much of a difference. Like it's hard to it's
well,
hard to hide.
yeah. Well, yeah, 32H, like you're talking about one of the quotes you have in your introduction.
Mhm.
I can't even imagine.
Actually, the chapter on bras kind of changes your perspective on that. But yeah, 32 inches is very large. And, but yeah, you'd think she couldn't get around that, right? And yeah, if she wears a t-shirt that fits, cars are going to slow down. That happens.
Oh, yeah.
But generally, most people are respectful. But really, she can put on a hoodie and suddenly no one knows.
Yep.
It's that simple. So it's, there are ways to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, see, these are questions that no one would really be, easily, and you can't easily answer a lot of this. I get into the whole thing about haters, the whole rumor mongering with other females, the reality of street harassment versus the fiction of it. And then a lot of just very common interactions that busty women will all have. And interestingly enough, the two of them that they hear the most or two of the things they hear the most are everyone thinks they're being polite by suggesting a reduction.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
do,
That's fun.
yeah.
How does
that's okay.
That's interesting how someone would bring that up in a casual conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I imagine they do it like a haircut.
Yes. By the way, if you're wondering, you could get those reduced, and it'll help with your back pain.
Yeah.
Fine.
Which is also a myth.
Would you
Isn't
like
it?
that?
No, but
Hair at
that's
some
an
point.
example.
Okay.
But that's it's an example of where women give each other terrible advice to lower that girl's value
Yeah.
or appearance or attraction. It's kind of like when girls tell other girls to get those boyish.
Oh yeah,
haircuts.
guys aren't going to suggest a boob reduction at all. They're going to go the opposite direction.
Well,
I mean,
no
yeah,
doubt.
personally, I think it should be illegal, but I'm a libertarian, but
But yeah,
I
I
think
know.
breast
There are
reduction
some
should be
things you
illegal.
can't compromise.
Yeah.
Exactly. And large tits is one of them.
Yeah. Wonders of nature should not be disrespected.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly.
That should be the
agree.
opening. That should be the opening quote in your book.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the byline.
I'll type that.
You should think about putting that in there. Yeah. Now, what's the official title? Is JUGS with
Yeah.
one G, right?
2. I might
Two.
change it back to 1. I just assumed. I thought that was the slang for it.
That's what I thought too. Okay.
Maybe
And-
I'll keep it that way because it does seem that some people still use it as slang for breasts. The 2 G's.
I would go with 2 G's to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But after that, everything you wanted to know about big breasts, but were afraid to ask, a writer's guide.
This is going to be a huge hit. I'll be one of your first. I'll be one of your first purchasers, and I want a signed copy. We're gonna fly out. You're in Arizona, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna fly out to Arizona so I can get a signed copy.
But I think the curiosity factor alone of getting answers, because that's another thing that a lot of women don't understand when men ask them questions. It's not necessarily to be offensive.
Exactly.
One question that a lot of busty women get that baffles them is when their male friends are comfortable enough, they'll ask, "Well, what's your bra size?" And I try to explain, look, it's not that guys are being jerks. No, they genuinely are curious. Oh, that's what a double G looks like. That's a D cup.
Yeah.
And so, that's one of the questions often is, what's your bra size? But there's I have a whole list of things people say. And you said that no guy would ever say, get a reduction. That's not true.
Really?
Yeah. One thing that we get into, and this is more than one woman has brought this up, is there's a whole class of man, the sensitive beta male type, who thinks he's being sensitive and helpful by saying that.
Okay, there we go. Here we go.
And these are the same guys who will say things like, "Well, personally, I don't like big ones." As
He's
if that's
full of
going to
shit.
win him points with the big breasted woman.
It's full of shit.
Or another one would be, do you get back pain? Or your back pain must be terrible. You know, thinking they're being sympathetic.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty creepy.
If a woman says something like, I hate my highlights. You can't going up to her and saying, oh, I hate your highlights too. That's not going to ingratiate yourself to her. She's just going to say, well, I'm allowed to not like my highlights. You are not allowed to not like my highlights. It's the same principle.
Kind of the humble brag. They're trying to get, oh, I hate my highlights. No, they're great.
Exactly. You want they want that validation and that attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even in the instance in which they genuinely do not like them, going to them and saying, I also hate this part about you. It's like, that's not going to score you any points with them.
My mom is, my mom taught high school for years. And when she moved down to doing junior high, she said that there was kind of this phase that she realized teenage boys go through at that age where there's no filter. And she actually had to counsel a kid who had been sent to the principal because a girl in the class said, I hate my hair. And he said, yeah, your hair does look stupid.
Oh God.
And she was like, no, well, she said she hated her hair. And I was telling her, I thought she.
That's pretty funny.
But some other things, just lists of things people say. Are they real is a common question. My wife gets that. In the UK, apparently there's a thing with older women telling younger women, why don't you cover those?
Jesus Christ.
The female, one of the mean girl comments is, why don't you, he only likes you for your boobs, or you don't need a personality, you have big tits.
I've heard that said of, what did the one guy say to this girl? The only thing you have going for you are your tits. Yeah. So this was true in this case. So it was a plus for it was a plus for her.
And another one that I thought was really interesting is one of the women I interviewed went on this whole rant that whether we like to admit it or not, she said, being busty, breasts are power, and it's something you can use to your favor. And that's where some of the jealousy comes in. And that's where problems come in. She went into this whole rant about it. It's like, see, this is not something I would ever ask or even think to ask.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, the attention chapter has really expanded. I did not expect it to be this. And yeah, so much of it's like bringing up just misconceptions and debunking them over and over again.
Okay. How as far as you've gotten, how long is the book?
I would have to say right now it's probably at around 15,000 words, maybe a little more.
Okay, you're getting into novella size. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably going to be novella size.
Nice. Have you thought? Yeah. I'm curious about the cover.
It's that image you've got there.
Oh, okay. Let me throw that back up again. Hang on. Share a screen. I stopped that one. Let me share that again, and go back to this one here.
Yeah, and
okay.
So you don't get her head, do you? Can you open the graphic, or does that is that all you get?
That's all I get. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you want to share it, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you throw it up,
let me find the image and I'll share it. Yeah, I'll get the image anyway. Any other questions or just?
I guess we're into general discussion right now. You pretty much answered most of what I had. How about you, TJ James? Do you have any more questions in regard to big tits in literature?
You go first, TJ.
Well, being older, wiser, James, I don't have any questions.
Well, in that case, what's the age range of your interview subjects?
They're all women that are let's see, late 20s into mid 30s. No teenagers.
Did you talk to, probably for the best, did you talk to, let's see here, did you talk to, what's her name, Christina on Twitter?
Uh,
Let's see here. I'm blanking on her name. And in the absolute worst opportunity to do so. But where did you source these women from? Were you just like snagging them off the street? Like, hey, we need you for an interview. You're perfect for it.
no. Well, I started talking about it on our podcast, and people were curious, and I was like, well, I'm kind of doing this stupid thing. It's, just something I wanted to do. And suddenly everyone was interested. And at first they did think it was just a cash grab. It was, this is just some sort of silly cash grab, right? And then they began to, I started reading parts of it, and they started to realize, yeah, it's funny, but no, this is actually a legit guide, and it has useful information. And they started getting even more interested. And then I started having women come forward, some of our listeners. And they just volunteered.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
The Twitter account I was thinking of was at Christina Tasty, by the way.
Christina Tasty?
She is at Christina Tasty. She is part of Big Titty Twitter.
Really?
Right.
There's a thing called Big Titty Twitter?
I don't know if there's a thing called Big Titty Twitter.
There is now. There is now.
Right? Well, yes, I suppose so. I've updated.
All right, throw it in the chat, and then I'll throw it up and share it.
Mm.
We need to spread the word.
That's the thing is, I'm definitely going to send her the link to this book because I think she'll be interested in it. Or I know she'll be interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, more people willing to talk, the better. I would. Yeah, the thing is a lot of the information I'm gathering is women who work professionally, glamour models, actresses. I try to stay away from the porn people, but exotic dancers. Well, you get a lot of information that way. Some of the pinup models have been the best source of information, believe it or not. But these are all people who are, their job is to look sexy or their job is to look beautiful. So they're going to have a specific reaction. People are going to regard them a certain way, but not only that, their personality. These are people that have the courage and the confidence to stand in front of a camera or even take their clothes off in some regards. But, most of these are just glamour models, as I said. So in that regard, that's not the average woman.
Gotcha.
Who, a woman who, one woman who was answering questions is a doctor. Another one works in therapy. And this is just that's their job.
What kind of therapy? I had to ask.
I didn't delve.
All right, so here we have it. We have Christina is also a tall lady, so she's tall and has large tits. A veteran of the war for breast sliders. The fight continues. Avatar by Sukachara K. All right, so let's look in media.
I don't know if you're actually going to see pictures of her on there, or at least not. Well,
what the fuck? What the fuck, James?
I mentioned. Well, I didn't say this is a
for reference. It's me, but here you go.
So that we could look at her.
All right. Well, what good are you? All right. So for reference, it's me, but in Resident Evil. So there you go. So that's her in Resident Evil. She's got some large bazungas. All right, that's fair enough. Sure. I don't see.
Vince is going to keep scrolling. Vince,
I'm going to scroll down till I find some tits.
All right. I'm going to help him with this process so that
you should.
So it goes a little quicker,
a bit faster. Yes, that's I should have known.
You should have known, you son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't locate the cover right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay. When you do, you can share it with me, and I'll post it out for everybody. I'm sure
But,
everyone in the chat, the chat is going to be on the pre-order list.
well, if it keeps going this way, yeah, I'm going to have to probably do a press run on it.
You should
Or-
completely do a press run on this. Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, there are a few other people I'm hoping to contact after I get more written. But yeah, it's interesting, reading these stories from people who, again, their job is being attractive, and then in comparison, people who are doctors, people who work with phone center.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute there. Jesus Christ.
Well, here's a picture, I think. Okay, this is going to sound awful. She's not trans, is she?
That's one of
I
the
don't-
cosplay makeup.
I don't know.
Or is that just the makeup?
Yeah. But in any case, yeah, you're not going to see a full body pink for like the.
Okay, there's a picture.
I've gone back to the beginning of this year. I still can't find anything.
It's I wouldn't worry about it at this point. Just use your imagination at this point. Just think in your head that they're large.
No,
They're large
that
titties.
account for about 2 years now.
That's
Jesus,
right.
I've had a Twitter account for a while. But in any case, the only reason I brought that up was there was a circle of women who have large tits, who I mean, they just tweet about it. Maybe not constantly anymore, but they will go into fits and spurts of tweeting about it incessantly for several weeks, and like group together about these. But that's the only reason I mention it.
Well, I've noticed there's kind of this, usually busty women, the last thing they want to do is talk about their breasts. It's not something they draw attention to usually. But after all the breast hate that's been going on, I've been noticing this kind of, just being in your face about it. No, yeah, I'm busty. Yeah, so what? Kind of as a counter, force to all the
Counterattack, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's been kind of interesting.
Which reminds me, why did you stay away from the porn stars?
Well, for one thing, usually finding interviews that did not just involve, shooting scenes or things like that. Maybe I'll interview one if I can contact one or one's interested in talking about it. People who work in porn, though, it seems like that's such a niche world and a very skewed perspective. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe that is you're not the first person to say, well, you're going to write about that part too, right? It's like, oh, well, I guess maybe I should.
Yeah, I feel like you should get that interview with Lauren Phillips, let's say.
Lauren
That would
Phillips?
Or
That
Autumn
would-
Falls.
that
Autumn
would
Falls.
be-
She could,
That would be an interesting perspective from that.
yeah, we'll go through
genre, some of that genre.
I'll get the interview for you. I'll do the interview for you, and then I'll send you the transcript.
There you go.
Let's see. Oh, I see what you mean. So chapters in the book, I think you'll find this interesting. We got the introduction. We've got chapter 1, back problems, real women and other myths. 2, the riddle of cup size. 3, a bra for every occasion. And that is essentially the necessity of bras and what they all are. Apparently, this is a very important part of a busty woman's life. Is bras.
Something that can hold an H cup is properly.
Well, that
can
was
get expensive depending on what part of the world you're living in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dressing for success, and that's again dressing with big breasts. Another thing people get wrong a lot. Living and working with huge gazongas, and that's day-to-day life, and all the little things that people wouldn't consider. Kicking ass with huge tits. That one's been interesting because I've been able to find numerous interviews with MMA fighters and wrestlers that kind of debunk the whole idea that you can't have a warrior.
So the tits actually don't get in the way.
It depends. Some say they do, some say they don't. But there's no real consistency to it as part of it. And that's kind of the one thing that I didn't quite expect it to be that inconsistent. You'll find some women who say, yeah, it's terrible. I have to, strap them down. And others say, oh, that's fine. I don't care. But let's see. But yeah, that one's going to be a fun one. I'm also going to answer all the questions about, does it get in the way of shooting firearms, bows, fencing? That's another thing Kat does is she did fencing for a while. So another one I can answer. Attention, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Chapter 8, the bionic woman, all about breast implants. Chapter 9, what do they feel like? Chapter 10, jiggle physics. Where are her organs? And the last one, why write about big boobs? And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have lots of information about how to approach a character. I say in one of the chapters that 99% of this, you're never going to outright mention while writing, but it will inform the way the characters behave, how others behave around them. And, just details that now it, you can put it in there. And if a busty woman read it, say, oh yeah, this is totally correct.
Gotcha.
So it reads realistic.
That makes sense. So at the very least, you know what you're talking about when you are writing. So,
right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to find something else in here that I wanted to share.
How many chapters total? 12?
Yeah, 12 chapters. Okay, this might be a little long, but I'll read you a little bit of it. Why does a guy like me know so much about bra sizing? The day Kat put a fist-sized hole into the closet door was the day I knew she'd had enough. The Sisyphean struggle of finding a bra that both fit and flatters my wife's lovely figure had finally driven her to the breaking point. We just returned yet again from another shopping excursion with nothing to show for it, aside from another Saturday wasted. Put simply, Kat was too slim for Torrid, but too busty for Victoria's Secrets. And the few bras that did fit at Macy's were ugly as they were ill-fitting. So we'd gone to our last resort, Frederick's of Hollywood. Sure, the quality was poor and the styles were trashy, but at least the stuff on the rack fit, or at least they used to. And then it gets into this whole thing about even they didn't have anything anymore, and how the woman there was a complete bitch. And I'll jump ahead. After the horrible experience in Frederick's, I have her yelling, $90? 90 damn dollars for a slutty looking bra that'll fall apart on me? How do I know it'll even fit? It's been said that women like to talk about their troubles, whereas men prefer to search for solutions. So as I listened to Kat's frustration that day, I knew what had to be done. I would slay this dragon. So without saying a word, I set my mind to it. I would find my woman a bra worthy of her bountiful cans. Dear God, if only I'd known the rabbit hole I was about to fall into. Cup size, band size, sister size, US sizing, international sizing, brand sizing, and the many, many, many conversion charts scattered across the web. I had been expecting my quest to be one of math and measurements and locating manufacturers. What I found was a world where standard logic didn't apply. When it comes to bras, there is no constants. There is no uniformity of size, even within brands. Every bra is akin to Schrodinger's cat. Regardless of what the tag says, it remains in a state of fitting and not fitting until the woman puts it on. And it just goes into me figuring it out and eventually finding the answer for her.
Has your wife had to go abroad to Europe for good fitting bras as far as like all that stuff?
She mail orders everything now from Poland.
Okay,
Poland.
Which apparently manufacture the best bras for busty women.
Wow, it's like Hugh Hefner and Howard Hughes and his no shimmy bra that he introduced during the 40s and 50s. Interesting. Okay,
but yeah, the whole thing. I think the listeners are probably getting a sense of what to expect now.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions?
Everyone in the chat, do you have any questions for Ishii as far as tits are concerned? Let's see. You really have done good on this one, Ishii. F me for doubting you. We should never doubt Ishii and his large tits.
Well, keep in mind, a lot of credit goes to my wife.
There you go. Does he? Bacon says, does he cover women with large cup sizes and running?
Yes, I absolutely do. And I've got a hilarious quote from a B-movie screen queen named Glorianne. I forget her last name. Glorianne Gilbert. And the quote is essentially, she says, I love running, but no matter how fast I run, my boobs always seem to be faster.
One of the girls, momentum.
Yeah, exactly. One of the women I was fooling with, she had to wear 2 sports bras because she was double D at the time. Yeah.
And chances are, if she was wearing a double D, there's a good chance that actually probably was the wrong size.
Probably, yeah.
That's something we get into. But yeah, I definitely cover running. Cat, we haven't done it since we've moved to Arizona where it's hotter, but we used to run. And yeah, it's all about the right sports bra. And the thing she wears looks like a chest or a plate mail. Yeah, this is like industrial strength.
One thing I've been curious about recently is the construction of them, because I've heard if you're introducing spaghetti straps to these, they're basically designed, if you're above a certain size, they're basically designed to cut off your arms if you leave them on for too long. Like you need the strap needs to be like at least an inch wide. Is that on the right track?
Yeah, unless the top has support built into it, apparently. Yeah. Because then otherwise the strap's just apparently to keep the thing in position. But yeah, if there's no support, apparently it is essentially strangulation by breast.
Strangulation by breast.
Or tourniquet by breast, I don't know. Interesting take.
Neither of them sound pleasant.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Good fact about Poland. I'm trying to see if
There are questions about Red Crusader really wants to know about boob armor.
Oh, I cover that in the kicking ass with big breasts. Or let's see, kicking ass with huge tits. That is definitely covered. I get into the whole thing about boob armor. Including the historical facts of ones that have actually been made, and what people have said who use armor or have smithed them. And there is also an interesting bit about the problems with having very large breasts and modern ballistic armor. They're still in the process of trying to develop bulletproof vests for women who are busty in any degree.
Interesting.
So
people already just put it on.
Yeah.
Right. People who are too fat have a little bit of the too much of a gut, like overhanging and stuff like that. You'll see the armor is like probably about 10 inches above where where the gut actually ends and stuff like that. It's like, technically speaking, you're still protecting all the most important parts. It's just you're getting a lot less surface areas being covered right now.
Correct.
Yeah, getting back to the ballistic armor, though, it is kind of like that. Is a woman puts on, if she's busty and puts it on, it's ill-fitting, and it tugs up over the waist and bulges out in the front, which it's not supposed to. And then the hard armor, where you put in the flak plates, can't wear it. It's just really it's not going to cooperate. So, all right. I mean, you guys have been on for what, an hour and?
We've been on an hour and 23 minutes. We are going to wrap it up. I don't like. We're trying to keep these to about an hour and a half. I will ask this. When do you see this being completed?
Hopefully in the next 3 months.
Okay.
I would like it sooner. It just all depends on how quickly I can type it all out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm writing it at a rapid pace, and I did not expect it to be as long as it ended up being.
Okay. Cool. We will definitely promote it for you. It's right up our alley. So. Absolutely. We are writers and we like large tits. So there you go.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know, right? It works out well. I'm happy. I'm happy to be a man. I'm happy to be alive in these times.
So I think that you really appreciated Case File Arkham then.
Oh, fantastic. So much, like I said, so much so that I bought the t-shirt. I wear that to the gym. I get a lot of compliments on it.
Oh, cool.
From
Very
both
cool.
men and women. Yeah. Like, oh, cool shirt, dude. Oh, I like your shirt. Like, oh, thank you. I like it too, which is why I'm wearing it. Yeah. How's that? How's the? We're getting a little further afield. Though. What other writing projects are you working on now?
Well, as I mentioned, I think last time I was on the air, I had published a novella and a short story.
Correct.
In the last couple of months.
Mm.
The novella being the sci-fi story about a fallen astronaut and an intelligent rat.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then I've got another horror story up, which is more humor-based, but it's essentially it's about a guy who has a children's TV show where he's a TV clown in the afternoons, and he's suddenly been indoctrinated into the cult of Cthulhu and decides he's going to make it an element of the show. And so that was it's horror humor.
Cosmic horror and humor. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those two things, and then I've been working on a novel called Machine Child, and I was making very good progress, and then this happened. I was like, oh.
And then the tits happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, and suddenly everyone's like, finish it. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, everybody wants this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, can't you have this sort of excitement for my other book?
Well, the tits don't lie. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's something that's almost universal on both sides of the gender fence.
And again, there's also the curiosity factor.
I think Bacon has something fun. Jugs in space.
You know, I'll look into that. I'll look into that. I'll see if 0G is an issue or if they just keep them strapped down, you know.
There you go.
I know that fighter pilots, that apparently they get the industrial strength sports bra to keep them in place because
the G-forces, yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. Any other questions from the peanut gallery? We're going once, going twice. We're coming up on 1 hour and 26 minutes. We've got 4 minutes left in this broadcast. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat now or forever hold your peace. How about killer cans from outer space?
Yeah, maybe that's my future from now on. If I start writing boobs and stuff,
Space tits.
I'll go from being moderately known to very successful overnight, right? Space tits.
Well, there you go, and the rest of it will fall into place. It's like that. It's like that book, the script writing book. What's called Save the Cat.
Oh, I'm familiar with that one.
Wherein the writers say, okay, well, a lot of people are under the motivation of, I want to write my passion piece, otherwise I'm selling out. So they say no. Write something that appeals to the crowd, that's marketable, and you make your money. You make your money, and then you write your artistic niche passion piece. There you go.
And that is what Machine Child is. It's kind of that story that I've always had in me. I've been thinking about this since college. These ideas just kept developing, and I didn't know it until I started writing it that this was that story I've been always trying to tell. Gotcha. And yeah, it is a passion project. It's got a lot of deep philosophical stuff in it. It definitely falls in line with a lot of the directorial work of Mamoru Oshii. So it's a kind of an action story, but with philosophical themes. It's a cyberpunk setting.
Oh, cool.
It's got all sorts of mythological elements tied in. But the easy short version is it's Cyberpunk, Jack and the Beanstalk, or The Fall of Heaven?
I like it already. That's pretty cool. Like badass. Cool. Nice. So the bacon one, the goddamn bacon wants to know what pushback has he gotten on the book, if any?
I haven't gotten any pushback yet, but I got kicked off Twitter when they did the big purge. So, you know, right now on Minds, everyone loves it. And my show as well, you know, the show I do with my wife, we've only once had someone kind of give us shit.
Really? What was their beef?
Oh, I think it was a troll who was just trying to be an asshole.
Gotcha.
He was in there. Yeah, he kept saying stuff like, "Yeah, so yes, tell milk bags to flash your tits."
Yeah, for fuck's sake! Yeah, it's a complete troll.
Yeah,
Insta block. Yes.
But other than that, no, I haven't gotten any pushback. Our audience is very, very cool. Again, I'm kind of shocked how many female listeners were busty, as well. Okay, strikingly busty, and willing to come forward and share their own, you know, stories about growing up, the awkward things that people. One of the things I always ask is, what do writers get wrong? What do you want to? What stereotypes are you sick of, and what would you like to see more of? And there was kind of the notion that the two sides of the busty character is we've got the Joan Holloway, which was probably the last great busty character who was fully developed and interesting. And then on the other side, you got Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And it's weird because there seems to be this notion of people saying, I want more Jessica Rabbits, I want more Joan Holloways, or I want more Velmas.
Okay. Interesting.
Kind of interesting. Yeah.
That is very interesting. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, all right. So one more question. Anyone have one, whether it's on the panel, whether it's James or TJ or someone in the chat? We'll do one more question, then we're heading out.
Killer cans from outer space.
I know, right? Oh, Red's giving you a shout out. I'm glad I saw Kami Slayer Angel because of you, Ishii.
You know, I'm working on a second one of those, and to be honest with you, I liked making that parody so much. I'm really considering if I can find an artist making it an actual comic. I really want to do it. Are you guys? I have this other channel that I try to remain anonymous and pretend it's somebody else because it's my really edgy, offensive content.
I like it.
And I had a video I put up where I took scenes from various animes, mostly Angel Cop, and I recut it, added music, changed the dialogue, and changed it to be about this police officer that's going around killing. There's a city in the future, and it's being invaded by psychic communist transvestites, and this one woman can stop them.
Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah, if you want to email me the link, I'll check that out.
Oh sure. Give me a second. I'll
throw
that. Actually, I'm surprised this channel has not been banned yet. I've gotten a couple strikes. Well, I've put up some really. It's weird. Either I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm just not charismatic enough. Maybe it's because it's got an anonymous kind of side to it. This faceless video hacker producing this weird crap. But I've gotten videos that have gotten like 500,000 views, or ones that have become viral.
Really?
And I've still only got about 2,400 viewers. And that's so odd. I don't know. But yeah, there are two other videos that are very popular. One that was, I think they're both pulled down now. I had to put them back up on Minds and a few other sites like BitChute. But I did this video years ago, or a couple of years ago, when the whole Pepe the Frog was kind of the big controversy. And one was a fake movie trailer for a film called Pepe First Blood, which went viral as all hell.
Oh shit, that's funny.
And then the other one was I had done this I'd done this video about the Kekistani movement, and I made it look like an actual news report from MSNBC, and everything's wrong.
Jesus Christ.
Everything in it was wrong. This got banned. This got actually more like 70, almost a million views.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it got banned because people were thinking it was serious, and the joke was is everything wrong. And it was, yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
Here you go. I'll put it in the private chat since I'm not.
Do you want me to show it to everybody?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, cool. Let me throw this shit up here. Hang on a second. All right.
And actually, the Minds channel. Oh, that's my latest one that went viral. Is Coke? It's not okay to be white commercial.
I was just saying, be less white. That's yours.
Oh, you've seen this?
No. I'm just looking at it now. I'll play that one. Sure.
Yeah, I was kind of, even being throttled, it's got 43,000 views.
Fucking laugh my ass off. All right, hang on. Let me share this shit out. Share screen. I love this kind of shit. This makes my day.
Yeah, all the content's kind of like this found footage, repurposing.
Yeah. All right, let me make this. All right. Everyone, turn up your sound. Here we go.
The world your home and furnish it with love. The white purple dove. Teach the world to sing with me.
Jesus Christ. Son of a bitch. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And if you want to see the other one, Kami Slayer Angel is like on the next row down.
Oh, okay. Let me take a look.
You click videos.
Let me see. Kami Slayer Angel. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. All right, let me share that one too. That's hysterical.
Yeah, this was originally all. Oh, okay, there we go.
All right, let's play that.
Mysterious virus that seems to have appeared out of thin air and is spreading like wildfire. And the CDC warns it could spread to hundreds of thousands by the end of the week. New York projected 1.5 million dead. Maryland, 300,000 dead. Florida, 1.5 million projected to push up daisies. And now, certain fears that the virus may have jumped.
Get ready to rock!
I'm going to drain your brain of information.
Ours is a just and noble cause of true patriotism.
Fuck it is!
You don't have a chance against me. Your power's no match for mine. Fuck you, baby.
The funny thing is, this Angel Cop really is very anti-communist.
Oh, I like it already.
Shut the fuck up, you self-righteous, moralizing commie scumbag.
Extremely problematic.
Greatest show ever.
Yep.
I'm better than you are!
You bitch!
It's Mary Sue.
You think you can stop me? I'm not here to take you in, I'm here to take you out. I've fully transitioned, you fool! Now witness the power of my trans penis! It's over
Jesus Christ.
Eat shit and die.
Eat shit and
My
die.
name's Angel, but don't let that fool you. I can be a bitch when I want to.
Well,
And then there's
from
3.
Mars, then women have to be from Venus. Actually, that saying is wrong. What? Women aren't from Venus. Hermaphrodites are. Yeah, penis and a vagina.
Psychic communist transvestites. That's what we're up against. Red lady boys with superpowers.
Jesus Christ.
What?
My God, Angel, you really don't care about people, do you? Just because they're in custody doesn't mean you can disrespect them by not using their proper pronouns.
Please just get off my fucking case, will you? I'm sick of taking this shit from you.
Guess I shouldn't expect anything more from a cis woman.
How the fuck with her anyway?
That's it.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. I love it. Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Nope.
This is actually where I this is how I keep my sanity. I do all my serious work, and then this is how I kind of vent.
Right? It's good stuff. I'm gonna have to subscribe and go through the rest of them.
Cool. Thanks.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen. We're done with the questions in the chat. Sorry, you had your chance. You're done. Ishii, thanks for coming on and talking about your book. We look forward to the completion of it. And
Hey, I appreciate you bringing me on. I would love to do this more. I mean, I like what you guys do.
Thank you.
The whole concept of the masculine geek cast, it's really it's a necessity at this point.
That's pretty much what we think too. Yeah, we're definitely niche, but we're organic. We don't do any kind of paid advertising. We're just everything is organic, so and that's fine with us. That's how we want it to be. But yeah, we would love to have you on more. That would be cool to talk books, tits, everything.
Yeah, and and there's a number of subjects I'm pretty well versed in. I suppose I could give you a list if you ever do a show on it.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, if you want, send me a list of stuff that you're interested in talking about, and then we can do a show about. That would work out nicely.
Excellent.
Cool.
Well, good night, everyone. I guess, or
yeah, we're gonna take everyone out. So, where can everyone find you, Ishii? Because I know your Twitter's been shut down.
Yeah.
So,
let me grab it. The best place to find me right now is on minds.com.
Minds.com. Okay.
And if you ask me, I'll probably pretty open about my email if people want to email me directly.
Mm-hmm.
But let me pull up the account and I'll share it.
Yeah, pull up the actual Minds account name and then I'll throw it in the chat.
But that is the best way to get a hold of me right now. And then we have Ishiro Finney here on YouTube, in which it was originally supposed to just be my channel to promote my books. And it's kind of turned into something else. Kat and I will do various shows, sometimes very serious, sometimes... Well, we have a show on the weekend called Adventures in Awful, where we find genre-based fiction, usually tied into comics or superheroes, and we read it and react as we go through it.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of a mystery science theater kind of thing.
All right. Bacon says he can't find your channel on YouTube.
I am throttled. Let's see if I can. YouTube really, really does not want... I don't know.
That's bizarre.
That may be one of the reasons I'm not getting subscribers.
That could be.
J.Ishiro Finney. And I'll put that in the chat as well.
All right. Let me throw that up.
And
you should get you have over 1,000 subscribers. You should probably get your name instead of the letters and numbers that YouTube assigns you.
That would probably do a lot.
Yeah, you can get an actual name assigned to it now.
And then the other cast that's really weird is I'll do these casts on Sunday called the Nothing Cast, which really just started with, I had a long day, let's talk. And I don't know why people like the format so much, but I go on for about an hour to an hour and a half, and the audience decides what we talk about. And I pretty much just chat with the audience.
Nice.
Yeah, right now on Adventures in Awful, we are reading Olivia Munn's autobiography. And it's as terrible as you think it would be.
I'm sure. Here, I'll share this out too. So this is your minds. How are you finding minds? Because I do have a masculine geek site, but I haven't done anything with it.
I like it. I mean, it's a bit different. They've fixed a lot of the problems. The one thing I noticed is it does not really shove a lot of content at you. It's not like Twitter where it's kind of designed to piss you off. This is very passive. It's more like if you want to engage, you engage.
Gotcha.
Actually, there's one other thing you guys might like on the Ishiro site. Is every once in a while I'll do these videos called Nadim's Nerdland, which I use this footage of this one mullah from, I don't know, I think Pakistan, and I do it up like it's one of these geek shows where I have him talk about comics and like I did one on Gina Carano.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. Red Crusade. I'll direct this at you since you are you're on Minds now fairly prolifically. What's up with Minds? Should I get an account and get my friends on it?
I would say so. I mean, so far it's been the best. I don't know. Gab works really well, but the problem is Gab's so inundated with just politics. You know what I mean? People don't seem to talk about anything else there. I mean, on Minds, there's like comics groups, there's novel groups. There are boob sharing groups.
Nice. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Okay. Maybe I'll do some more marketing on Minds with Masculine Geek.
I've never had anything censored by them.
Oh, nice. That's even better. Okay, so these are the platforms wherein we can find you. Fantastic.
And you can find all of my books on Amazon.com as J. Ishiro Finney for my fiction and Josh Finney for my graphic novels, which I'll slowly change. I made a critical error early in my career. I should have realized Josh Finney is way too close to Jack Finney, one of the most prolific and famous sci-fi writers of the 20th century. So when you type that in, half the time you get Jack Finney instead of me.
Gotcha. All right, Bacon. We'll answer your question, even though questions are officially closed. Stupid question. What social is Minds closely related to?
What social media?
Yeah. What does it remind you of?
It tries to be a hybrid of Twitter and Facebook, but there's no algorithms forcing content at you. It's a much slower pace, but essentially you can chat back and forth, and they allow you to kind of do full paragraphs or entire blog entries if you want in response. You can have a blog on there, you can have videos. So yeah, I have my head trauma channels on there, and it's just the videos.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Very cool. All right, so those are the areas where we can find you. Cool. James, where can everyone find you?
At the moment, you can find me on Eyes of the Forest on Kickstarter. I think we went over it. We didn't have as many people, but we went over that at the start of the show. But just look it up on Kickstarter. You'll see it, done by James Streisand. And if you've ever complained about any kind of media ever, you owe me $2. So go ahead.
Fantastic. TJ, how about yourself?
You can find me at tjmartinell.com, but more importantly, you can find my books on Amazon, which you will buy, preferably
Yes,
read,
you will.
and then leave a review.
That's key. You have to put your money where your mouth is. Both my books, James's, Ishii's, and TJ's. Don't just talk about it. Don't just tweet about it. Don't just share it. Fucking buy the books read them, sit down and enjoy them with your cup of coffee, your cigar, your pipe, your alcoholic beverage of choice. You read them, and then, holy shit, you leave a review. It's not that hard. Okay, all you have to do is hit the 5-star, the 4 or 5-star. We like 4 stars too because it kind of balances out a little bit. You leave an honest review. It doesn't have to be long. It can be a sentence, and that's it. Do that.
Reviews are actually more important than often the purchase on Amazon, because the reviews tell the algorithm, no, people want this book, and here's who you should market it to.
Exactly. So reviews.
Even if it's just, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all you have to say. This was a fun book. Period. End of discussion. That's all you have to do. Get off your ass. Put your money where your mouth is. Order the books. Fucking read them. Actually, you don't have to fucking read them. Just say you like them. Leave a review. But we would prefer you if you would read them. So there you go. All right. Until next time, this has been a Masculine Geek Rogue Sunday broadcast talking about large tits in media and literature. It's always a fun time. We'll have Ishii back on as a regular to talk about various topics in the Masculine Geek world. So until Wednesday, where we have our Masculine Geek, no social justice warrior, no Spurg bullshit D&D game. Check that out. Yes, we do a live stream D&D game with Raul Tomasi as Dungeon Master, with Drew Bay, TJ, and myself. Not every Wednesday, twice a month. So check that out. This next one will be this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Check your clocks. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Masculine Geek Dungeons & Dragons. Until then, James, take us out. Jesus Christ. All right, never mind.
Keep the fires burning. Keep the lead flying down range. And do not accept any tree bark composed nickels.
There you go. He's getting esoteric on us. But anyway, you know the deal. We'll see you soon.